Good evening and welcome to Slam the Gavel, the show that tells it all regarding family court, other court issues, as well as CPS. I am your host, Marianne Petrie. You can find me, my books, and blogs on dismantlingfamilycourtcorruption.com, as well as on Amazon. And I'm happy to announce my books are now on audio. I have a return guest. I'm very pleased to have Marineka Bowman back on my podcast. She was last on season 3, episodes 104, 131, 159, 160, 174, 184. Season 4, episodes 22, 48, and 61. Season 5, episodes 149, 210, 238, and 248. And believe me, there's a reason why a parent has to come back on and on over and over again to get the justice that they need for their case that isn't happening in the court system. Last time Marineka was back on, she talked about the false evidence that was produced involving Judge Natalie Haskins and attorney Laura Brooks. Now, she just got some new documentation, and I'll let her explain as we update Marineka's case. Welcome, Marineka.
Hi, Marianne. Good
Hey,
morning. How are you
morning.
again? Yes. So I just want to do an update on the child support case.
Okay.
Um, I did file for modification in the Supreme Court after my case was dismissed. I was trying to look for my document to give an exact date when it was dismissed. But anyway, the case was dismissed after, and I filed for it to be modified in the Supreme Court on March 31st, 2025. I filed a case. But I received a letter from the Supreme Court. Wait, hold up. Sorry about that, Marianne.
Well, it's kind of weird that you just filed this.
Wait,
Really?
no, I think I filed, yeah. I was trying to make sure I gave you the right date. I think it was, no, I said it's February. Sorry, February 20th, 2025. I think I filed that
But
case.
still, they're
Yes.
answering this fast.
So so they respond back to me March 31st, 2025. And they stated that I'm going to read part of the letter that I did not comply. Mind you, this case was dismissed
Huh.
in the small court. So if dismissed means they're not going to answer it, right? It's not
Mhm.
They're not going to answer your case. That's what I understand dismiss is. They don't have no intention of answering it. They never did anyway.
So what are they hiding?
For the amount of times, but I'm going to explain what they're hiding. I'm going to explain to you in detail what is it that they're hiding. So my case was dismissed multiple times, the
Mhm.
roll calls and all of that stuff that we discussed in previous podcasts. That was dismissed, denied, dismissed, denied. So I said this time that I'm going to take my case to be reopened in the Supreme Court. I'm not asking back for any money.
Mhm.
All I'm asking is for my case to be modified fairly,
Mhm.
that I can live comfortably too, and make a payment that is comfortable for me.
Mhm. Mhm.
Besides, I want to see my child. I want her to be in part of my life too. So, but I'm gonna write what they said that I didn't follow, that they dismissed because failure to comply with the Supreme Court rule number 42 when taking an appeal for an apparent interlocutory order. In her response, I'm not gonna read the entire thing. They said I had the absence of compliance with, the same rule 42, limit reviews for court trial and final judgment, and generally determine the merit of controversy and defines the rights of the parties and leave nothing for further determination or consideration. So they're saying everything what I stated, then leave no further determination for them to consider a final appeal.
Mhm.
right? So, but remember, like I said in the past, that I wrote to the Supreme Court and numerous times of incidents that was taking place, all the false evidence and stuff, and that's the type of response I keep getting from them anyway. So, but before I filed that appeal in the family court, or after, I got a letter, I got an email from a judge. I never heard of him. And this case was going on for 4 years. Just trying to get his modification. The amount of times they denied my modification, and we were doing podcasts about, I never heard of him. So he emailed me stating that he did not have any staff on February 19, 2025. He emailed me and said that I have a case coming up on March 24th, but they would not be able to answer the case because they don't have no staff. Again, on March 6, 2025, I got the same email. Your case is coming up on March 2024. Sorry to say we don't have no staff. Never heard back from him after I get that letter.
That's a poor excuse.
Right? You don't have no staff. My
All he
case
had
is
to
going on.
do, but Marineka, all he had to do is read your case and he could make a decision.
Yes.
You can't
Never
think
heard of him. Never heard of him. Never get any letter from the court that I even have a case. The email that I got, the proof of the email that my case was dismissed for how many times? For over 4 years. I'm trying to get a modification. Because when this, and you asked about the details, let me tell you about the details. I'm going to go into the details now.
Mm-hmm.
So when I had my daughter, like for a whole year, my ex-husband did not support me, like I did mention, right?
Mm-hmm.
So when I couldn't even get WIC because I had to prove, I had to get a physical, the divorce, say that I filed for the divorce and everything before I even get WIC. They wasn't even giving me WIC. And she was only, 2 months, 3-4 months.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, I couldn't get WIC until I filed for the divorce and get a paper showing that I did file for the divorce and he's not living with me and all of that stuff before I could have got WIC.
Mm-hmm.
So I did get help a little bit from the state during that time with the WIC and stuff. And one of the staff said, so I put in for food stamp at the same time. And the worker stated that once I put in for the food stamp, you have to do for the child support, and they start charging him child support then. And even until then, they take a long time before they even come around to that case. So all that time, before all that case came around, right?
Mm-hmm.
It's actually a whole year that I was taking care of my daughter by myself,
Mm-hmm.
without his help. And when it did came around for him to pay child support to me, was just 160 something or something like that, which didn't bother me. You understand? But you lie about your business. He did not report his business. He just everything they were doing with him is word of mouth. He didn't want to help to pay for the daycare, nothing. So when his turn came around to do the child support, at one point he didn't have an attorney, and then Laura Brooks came in. But before we go to the mediation for the child support and something else she did mediation for, Laura Brooks requested a specific mediator.
Mm-hmm.
Right? She asked for a specific mediator. She told the judge, one of those younger, as she addressed it in court, one of those younger mediators, not the experienced one. She stated that she didn't want a mediator named Sharon Page because she's more experienced. She understands the system more. She didn't want her to be the mediator. She wants this specific guy who have less experience, someone that she knows. And that's exactly. So ever since then, from the beginning when she did the mediation for the child support with him, my child support was over $900 something dollars already. Mind you, when they did this mediation for the child support, I was on unemployment because I got injured in the police department. So I was on unemployment. They went off my police salary, which I wasn't making.
Right.
They didn't even went off of the unemployment, which they should have, because that was the income I get and not the salary that I was getting from the police department.
Yes, and they do this to everyone.
Right? Not the salary. So I can't work. For a whole year or two, I could not raise my hands.
Mm-hmm.
I am right-handed. My right hand is where my clavicle got broken. I could not raise my hands. And even until now, I have issues with my right hand. So even if I'm looking for a job, I have to look job in the capacity of what I can do where I don't have to lift and all of that stuff. But yes, they went off my police salary, which I was not receiving, right? That part passed. We end up modifying it, end up trying to get a modification again. Laura Brooks lied in the court saying that I'm misusing the daycare and all of that. When Judge Natalie Ashkins had originally put an order for my daughter to go to part-time daycare because she was homeschooled by me. Part-time daycare. The order said part-time daycare. My daughter's father went behind my back and signed her up for full-time daycare. So he went against the judge's order, as usual. As usual. When I bring it back up to Judge Natalie Ashkin's attention that he have her in full-time daycare, she was like, we're not here to discuss nothing about daycare. That's not my whatever. When the new order came out after that case, she put that my daughter should go to full-time daycare in her new order. But she didn't want to discuss it in court, right? So my daughter was signed up for full-time daycare when it should have been part-time daycare. So all of this, so we went to another mediation with a commissioner. She told the commissioner, Laura Brooks told the commissioner that I was misusing the daycare and abusing the daycare, whatever. She don't know what I'm doing. Whatever foolishness she told the commissioner. So I was charged with that. Well, let me back up for a second. When she had this guy, the mediator that have less experience, she made him backdate also. I was doing a part-time job in school, you know. She made him backdate to charge me for that job when I was not the obligatory for child support.
Yeah, that's obviously unethical.
Then also, with the same individual that she didn't want, we went to, it's two different commissioners here and we had. So the first one, he made my ex-husband he didn't have to pay for daycare, even though my daughter was in daycare and I had gotten some money for my injury. He said, I don't need no money. And my ex-husband said he didn't agree for me to work. He didn't agree for me to work when he didn't support me. I'm supporting your daughter. I didn't ask you to support me. You didn't support your daughter, but you didn't agree for me to work. She needed milk. She needed Pampers. She needed wipes. You wasn't supporting, but you telling the judge that you didn't agree for me to work. And you wasn't living with me. You wasn't doing anything. Wasn't even in communication with me. So he never was charged for, had to pay half over the daycare. In addition, with that first commissioner, with the medical, because he was responsible for paying medical, all the co-payments I had to pay. And some of the co-payments was for his son. His son is not my son.
Now say that again.
His son is not my son. So the co-payments, because of his medical, for some reason, his son bills was coming to me for my daughter. And like if I take my daughter to the hospital, because Near Morris is the only the children's hospital in Delaware. So for some reason, his co-payments for the son was coming to me for some reason. So in order for my daughter to see the doctor, I had to pay those co-payments. They request that I pay those co-payments before she see the doctor. But some of those co-payments was for his son with another woman. So all of that, I have the receipt to show. But I'm not asking back for any money at this point. Like I'm saying, all these people that was involved, even the mediator that Ms. Laura Brooks didn't want to think. She wrote a paper to the commissioner didn't charge my ex-husband for the daycare, that she already take care of what she need to take care of, right? And instead of she send the paper to him, she mailed the paper to me. So all of them played a role with this child support to where it is today. All of them.
Right. This
all
extortion. Right.
All of them. All of them. Even the ones that she didn't want to be a part of the mediation, all of them played a part. You see, my ex-husband had a lot of people in position behind him, a lot of forces behind him. right? Because he's connected to people who is in House representative and all of that. So they feel like they could bypass the system and do favors. So all of these people in positions, right, was doing favors and whatever they did for him. Right now, we're here today. They didn't show their hands, but I see their hands. I work in the system. I know how they operate. Certain policies apply for certain people when they're connected with people, and so people who are not connected, the policies don't apply. Right? I work in the system, so I know how they operate. I know how they operate. I work in corrections for 7 years, so I know how they operate. I work in the police. I know how they operate. I see the underhandness. Right? Certain rules apply for certain people and certain rules don't apply for certain people.
Definitely.
Right? And so, and like I think it was in 2024, we had a mediation hearing where my child support was increased instead of decreasing. Based on my qualification, my experience. Right? And then it went on. Then they keep the same calculate in 2024. They kept the same calculations, which was done in 2022. Mind you, my disability is $1,500 a month, and they want me to pay him $1,052 every month. What am I going to live with? How would I be able to live? How would I be able to eat? How would I be able to clothe myself, pay my rent? How would I be able to do that? But anyway, Laura Brooks said she didn't care if I couldn't provide for my child. She did say that. She didn't care. She stated that. The arrogance she talked out of her mouth in court.
Yep.
She talked a lot of arrogance. She's very unprofessional and unethical.
And she obviously doesn't care about children, because if she doesn't care that you can't provide for your child because they're extorting so much money.
Yeah. She didn't care. She's
horrible.
She even told the attorney she didn't care. She didn't. One of the attorney that I had in, she said the attorney asked her, "Do you want to take blood out of a stone? How is she going to be?" She didn't care. She said it straight. She don't care. She don't care.
Oh, she wants that Title IV funding flowing.
Right? She don't care.
So they kept you, they increased your child support, and in 2024 they kept the same calculation that was going in 22.
22, correct.
Yes.
Correct. And all the denials of the ROCO, that had like 3 ROCO denials where the judges had to review the income, you know, and he lied. And my ex-husband lied that he didn't have his business. Didn't have to prove. He had his business since 2005, even before meeting me. They never asked him for physical proof that he filed bankruptcy for that business or he's not making money. But he was doing pro bono work, remember, in my last podcast for his attorney. So why would you keep a business going from 2005 and you're not making no money? Then on top of that, he was working with the Department of Motor Vehicles from DMV1 to Chief Compliance Officer, that he claimed that he voluntarily quit. And for that entire year of 2023, from March to September, he didn't work.
Oh, but if you did that, you'd be held in contempt and hauled to jail.
He did not work. He did not work for all that time. But you voluntarily leave a job. And did not work.
Now, I think you also said that
with all the promotions that he had, he works with the state, and they claim that none of these pay increase was reported to child support, but he works with the state. Now I'm trying to get a modification. Like all the foolishness that they did and everything that I was overcharged for, at this point, all I wanted is to spend time with my child and for this child support to be modified to the fairer amount. How could I be getting $1,500 a month from disability and have to pay him $1,052? With the disability too, with in Delaware, when I first got a disability in Delaware, you could not work even though you have the disability and you could have worked, you could not work for a certain amount of money for a year. There was a restriction, but the governor before this governor, Governor Carney, he had passed an order that you don't have to report your income.
Hmm.
However, even though I could work, I still have limitation with my hands. You
Right.
understand? So I can't do, not because I have a degree or whatever, I can't do every job. I can't go back and do the jobs I used to do.
Mm.
Even if I go back to corrections, they would not take me. I asked them already. But because of my hands, the issue with my still I have with my hands, they will not hire me.
And the judge will still estimate you at that income capacity.
Exactly. Exactly. Exactly.
That's what they were
Exactly.
doing to me. Ah.
And another thing in Delaware, point that I want to raise in Delaware, because a lot of these lawmakers that sit and they make these laws and they don't take a lot of things into consideration. Like in Delaware, they take people license. Delaware does not, like, as people who know New York, like some of the high city areas, you have trains, you have buses. Here, you like after a certain time, the buses don't run.
Mm.
Certain places, they don't have no bus service, they don't have no train service, they don't have no transit service, but you're taking people license. How are they going to even reach home, much as to go to a job?
Hmm.
Every Sometimes your friend or your family might give you a ride, but you can't keep depending on people all the time. And these are things that they need to take into consideration. You don't have a mass transit system here. How people going to get from point A to point B without not driving? You have to drive. So if you can't go and drive to your home, how are you driving to go to a job?
Hmm.
So so with that, then in addition, he said he didn't care about the child support. It's all about money.
Mm.
It's not like I didn't make attempt to think. I fill in for 19 customer service job at DMV. I didn't even know that he had this position. I know that he was working, but I know they have different locations. So I tried different locations. But I didn't know that he was chief compliance officer. I applied for DMV 19 times. Interview with them, sorry, 19 times.
Mm.
Before they tell me on the 20th time that I'm not qualified for none of the position. And all they ask for is customer service, which I have. How many years of customer service, cashier experience, which I have for how many years?
Hmm.
I even applied for child support that have a high turnover rate in Delaware here. They tell me I'm not qualified. And when I read the description of the job, I'm more than qualified for that position. But somebody from child support, I don't even know who it was, call and offer me for not a child support job, but they offer me like a call taker job for child support. I didn't apply for that job. Why are you calling me and offer me a job for a job that I didn't apply for?
Mm. So,
So this is all of the things that they know is going on,
right.
right? And a lot of people involved in my case for some reason or the other. I don't
Hmm.
know what is the benefit, and like I said on my last podcast, I don't even care what they think their benefits are,
Hmm.
what they were doing to benefit from doing what they were doing, or still doing to me,
Hmm.
because I leave them in the hands of God. I do, because this back child support stuff that I have here, I should never have that amount. And why it taking the state so long to to modify a case? Okay, you don't want to go back and fix all those things that you charged me and where he didn't pay and all of that. Okay, he wasn't working for whole years. He claimed that he have a new job, paying him way less than what he was paying at DMV,
Hmm.
40 something thousand. Okay, so go from there along with his business, because he have a business. Add that income that he's having now to his business, my disability, and do the calculation from there. Whatever payment plan or whatever it is that I need to do to pay that back child support, I pay. Why is it so much delay and back and forth, back and forth, back and forth, cha cha cha, with this to modify my case?
See, now I'm going to throw this out there only because, I've heard it said that if a parent is on disability, don't these judges put them at an income capacity of just making minimum wage. I'm I don't know if that's in certain states.
I have no idea. But the thing
Ah,
is that if you have, like with me, I have my qualification. So you go to a certain minimum wage job, they don't want to hire you.
right.
And then
Oh, yes.
and then besides that, besides for the whole of 2023, like DFS had a case where they were originally supposed to be investigating bruises on my daughter's skin, but the investigator, she
Mhm.
was more trying to get me to write release from from the psychiatrist that they made me do the mental health evaluation, for her to release my mental health evaluation for to her so she can write a new mental health evaluation for me. So that take a whole year. One of the jobs, two of the positions that I applied for asked if I had an open DFS case. Yes. She took 9 months, nothing to do with the bruises. But not after 9 months, she wrote that the parents don't want to cooperate in counseling, and the parents have conflict co-parenting, and um, the child is in no danger with being with either parent. Okay, the child is not in danger with being with either parent, just the co-parenting and the counseling. Why my child is still not with me?
Right. And
Why my child is not with me? Now you have me doing counseling with a counselor who quit. I still didn't hear from the court yet.
see, this is the corruption and the collusion and keeping your child away from you. And as I said earlier, it is Parental Alienation Day. So if he's going to play the game, and if Laura Brooks is going to play the game of child psychological abuser, then your child support should be suspended, period.
Exactly. And then they recently had a DFS case with this claim that I would threaten to unalive my child. There was the investigation finished, started in sometime in February. I think I mentioned it to you in our last, but in one of our podcasts before now. Until now, I haven't received did the investigation. I still haven't received uh, a letter from DFS saying this case is closed. So as far as I'm concerned, I still have a open DFS case. And these things affect people from getting jobs.
Right.
When you have open DFS cases, you go into the visitation center, you have the child support that is on your collections, because they put child support on your records, on your financial record, when they pull your credit.
Right.
A lot of jobs pull your credit, and when they see that you have child support or child support in collections, they automatically dismiss you.
Hmm.
I was gonna get a job as just working in admin with the sheriff office from a different state. The guy that interviewed me, they hired me on the spot. Then when they pulled my background, they said, you owe child support. And I said, yes. I was trying to explain. He said, we take that very seriously. So boom, I did not get a job.
Oh, this system is so set up to fail. Ah,
So you want me to pay child support, want me to pay the child support, want me to work, right? I could only work in the capacity in which I can because of my injury. I did not injure myself. I did not injure myself.
mhm.
I did not cause this injury on myself. But yet still you have this collection with that people rig the system, make me pay more than what I should be paying.
Hmm.
And because of this, I can't get a job. Then you want me to give him all of my money. And when he's working for more money than me. And one of the things they ask you when you fill out the paperwork at the high court, if you're living with anybody and what is the income, he's living with someone. And he keep lying through his teeth that he's not living with someone.
But did he
But
marry her?
but he sent a message to me that he's getting married. Oh, kudos to you that you're getting married. So, but the thing that they asking if you live with someone that both incomes. So what am I supposed to take care of you, your wife, her son, and your new wife, and the new baby, and my daughter? I worked
Interesting.
hard. I worked hard. I did a lot of overtime because I know I was working towards retirement. I want to retire comfortably, so I worked hard.
Oh,
But people don't want what you give them. They want what you work hard for. They want things easy.
mm-hmm.
And that's what it appears to me.
And
So
he,
now, because you know the system, you have people in position, people in the child support court, people in the family court, people in the state representative, and all of them that is your friends, and all y'all connected in the same circle, we're going to drag this out. We're going to penalize her. When I was with my daughter by myself, when he left for a whole year, where was all these people?
Mm-hmm.
Where were they?
Right. So they're letting you get extorted by a guy that will not show his, what, 1044, 1099, W-2 something. He's not showing anything.
They did not ask him for anything. He did not. He just said he
Okay.
did not. And when I went and did my research, that business that he stated that he filed bankruptcy for, he never filed bankruptcy for the business. Never. That business was active since 2005. Him and I got married in 2017. So that business was existing even way before I met him.
But they won't look into that.
So they don't want to go back and correct anything. What is done is done. The damage is already done. What I'm asking, what I want him to do now is just whatever job he have now, if he's working, because since he haven't worked for a whole year, because remember I pay, because until they take my tax return, so you get my tax return.
Mm-hmm.
So for last year alone, he probably get over $10,000 between the tax return and money that I pay into child support, because I want this to be done and over with. My family helped me. I want this to be done and over with. And then when you suspend my license for 1 month, it's almost $2,000. And the lady said she don't ever understand why they suspend my license for 1 month, and I have people owe for months and months and months, and they didn't suspend their license. So now you want to make me a target because I'm speaking of the corruption that they're doing?
I want to explain to people how this Title 4D, this child support enforcement, came to be. Title 4D, I'm getting this off Google, Section D of Title 4 of the Social Securities Act, which established a child support enforcement program in 1975. And this program mandates states to have child support programs to promote parental responsibility in meeting the financial needs of children and families. And Title 4D cases are those in which federal government has an interest, often involving public assistance recipients or individuals applying directly for Title 4D services. Disgusting.
And then besides that, they want me to pay child support. I have no connection with. First thing that the father did is took my name off of the emergency contact from Near Morris Hospital.
Mm-hmm.
Near Morris Hospital should have never removed my name unless they see a death certificate. That's why I always said anything happened to me, they check on him first. He removed my name like if she don't have no mother, but yet you find my name and my everything to
Okay,
file child support.
then the child support should be suspended. If he's not acknowledging you, then, well, why should you pay child support if
Right?
you're not?
Then with the school, on the emergency contact, he have his brother and his cousin as emergency contact. My name is not there. Mind you, as one of the when he was not even involved in my daughter's life,
Mm-hmm.
he tell the judge that I don't even have his name on the emergency contact, which is true. He was not talking to me. He was not involved in our life. So why should I put your name there?
Mm-hmm.
Why should I? So Judge Natliash can order me to put his name on whatever daycare she goes to, whether he paying or not, and he wasn't paying, as an emergency contact. So now the school, on our school, you don't have me as an emergency contact. You have your brother and your cousin. In the daycare, you have your brother and your cousin.
See, what I did was I would go back to the school and I would look and see who are the emergency contacts.
I know his brother, Thomas Howard, and his cousin, Anthony Johnson. That's who we have as the
Well,
emergency contact.
are you able to go back to that school?
I can't go back to the school because they banned me from the school. They said that I'm not allowed to go to the school.
Well, then your child support should be suspended.
And I'm paying for my Wizard app that is court
Oh, that
order.
is a waste of money. That
No,
is funded by the.
it's $100 and something a year for my Wizard app. My Wizard app have video calls, it have telephone calls, it have like you can do written chats and all of that stuff. All that the app have. And still, I'm not allowed to have no phone calls with my daughter. All I see my daughter once for an hour every Sunday. So you're paying for the Wizard app $100 and something, and you can't have phone calls. When the Wizard app have an application whereby I can get phone calls
Yeah,
or
this
see my
is
daughter video
terrible.
right during the week.
Now, the history of the AFCC. Now, the AFCC is like a sponsor of this family wizard. Parents don't know this. The AFCC is the Association of Family and Conciliation Courts. So they play a role in with this wizard app. And believe me, I was on it too. I only used it a couple months, but it was worthless.
Yeah, and the thing is, it is because you court ordering a parent to communicate and on this app is $100 and something a year. And in my case, he doesn't want to communicate. He takes
No.
6 months before he tell me what school my daughter's going to. He take 1 year to answer questions, something, ask him what program, whatever. 1 year before he even answer, right? Before you know we're going to court, then he answered, said something, right? So there's so much gaps, months and months of not answering my question. And if he do answer, thank you, receive, and he feel that's an answer, or if he do answer whatever he say, and I should not have no other questions besides what he tells me, and that's it. Even when it come to my daughter went to the emergency room more than once. You telling me afterwards, oh, she was at the emergency room all day, but you never tell me anything. You never even send a message on the app. Your child is at the emergency room.
Oh, exactly. That's why he is an alienator because my ex
Right?
did the same thing. My son broke his leg in middle school. I didn't know anything. I'm the last to know. I swear to God, Marineka, I want a t-shirt that says I was the last to know. And luckily, I had a friend call me and say, hey, just to let you know, he's going to the ER. He broke his leg in gym class. And I didn't go to the ER because I wasn't supposed to know.
Yes, yeah, you wasn't supposed to know. Yeah, because they gonna want to know how you know. Yes, right.
Right.
So, so no communication, and then you telling my daughter what you think she should tell me. You're coaching her to say, "Oh, mommy, I'm feeling well. I'm feeling well." And you went to the bathroom 150 times, but you're feeling well.
Hmm.
Mommy, I'm scared to use the bathroom because it
Hmm.
hurts, right? But yet still. So what I started doing recently with the emergency room thing, I just started attaching the counselor because he was telling the counselor that I'm lying that he do communicate. So I just started attaching her, the same one that quit, and the guard him allied him.
Hmm. And
And I
how
know the way
often?
that he responded, she made him, so one of the two of them, one of between the counselor and the guard him allied him, made him respond back to me. And that's how I was getting response. Why do I have to go through two people for, and he could tell me?
Now, do you know how many times he's taken her to the ER?
I know it's more than one, more than 3 times.
Would you
That's
say,
why one of the emergency room that she went to. Yes, I asked her. I asked how she's feeling, how how she's coming around. It took him 1 year before he answered. 1 year.
okay, see, so I mean, if I was a judge, your child support would be suspended.
No, but but instead they decline my rocos. They charge me extra for want to give him 1,052 a month for child support. 1,052 one child, not children, one child,
See, I
and I'm
also think,
making $1,500 a month on my
no,
disability.
see, I think there should be a cap on this. This child support is out of control, it's weaponized, and the kids don't even see the money anyway.
Right? And he was never buying no proper clothes for her.
Right.
Right? He wasn't buying no proper clothes. She come in there, so I give her clothes. And what he was doing when I give her stuff, he was throwing them away. She's old enough. You're throwing the stuff away, and then you lying in court that, oh, I don't show away the stuff. Well, the last set of stuff I see is like one and two of the outfits that she did came to the center with. She did came with a few, but before you keep throwing the stuff away. It wasn't his money. But you don't want me to buy clothes to my daughter. You don't want me to say happy birthday. You don't want me to say Merry Christmas. You take my name off of the name Morris, like she don't have a mother, like I'm dead.
Mm-hmm.
You don't even have her as as me as an emergency contact because I'm supposedly dead. But yet still you find my information to take to the child support to get child support.
Yeah, your child support should be suspended when they're playing these games.
And it's a lot of things that I didn't mention on these podcasts. With all of these things, you fighting me for money. I think they wanted me that today. Yeah, because things that they did.
Mm-hmm.
I could remember one time I was cornered, followed from Marshalls to my house, and I said, "These guys are following me." I started driving, so I end up on a cul-de-sac. Thank God I walked there that day, the day before, prior, and I know how to get out. I had like my police training had to kick in that day because I didn't come out my car. I think I drove through somebody's yard
Mm-hmm.
with my car.
Mm-hmm.
So all these things, when you talk about a lot of things that went on in this case and the lengths people went,
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
that could have caused my life. Not one time, not two times, not three times. But that's who they gave sole custody to. Then you had people who were private, claim that they were private, the investigators that was coming to my house and sitting for hours boldly, was following me. They didn't care. That these people did not care. You
Mm-hmm.
had people with Newcastle County, the police vehicle, they had the next section of Newcastle County with they have the white vehicles with the Newcastle County seal on it. They have this guy, the people was following me with the company vehicle that belongs to the state. So all of that you want to say was lie? My mom was living with me. My mom gonna lie? Hmm?
Right, right. Oh, and that's at taxpayers' expense.
You're gonna
So
say my mom was lie with all the stuff that they did to me? Just do this child support. Let me get my child, and they all could move on. They all could move on.
this could be a case of vengeance as well as mine was.
All of them, and they all know themselves. Even though they all didn't show their faces and show their hands, a lot of people were involved. Some of these people that was coming to my house, I don't even know them. They were coming to my house. I don't even know them,
Mm.
and a lot of them had tinted windows.
Mm-hmm.
Even my ex-husband had a neighbor. I know of his brother. They had a nephew named Michael. His uncle and three other young black men that I don't know they were staking my house out. But how am I going to call the police if they were involved too? But that's who they give sole custody to, and have this child support dragging out that who I have to pay child support for, alienating my daughter from me. You're coaching my daughter to say that she's scared of me. She don't want to come and live with me, and all this foolishness,
Mm-hmm.
right? To keep alienating her from me, but you want money from me for child support.
Well, Marineka, I know I had mentioned to you before about Morgan versus Morgan in New York State that came about February of 2024, where a father was being alienated from his children, and that went to the higher courts in New York State, and they suspended his child support. So, Attorney Laura Brooks, this could be coming to a state near you.
So, well, that's what I was hoping, that even if they didn't, when I take my case to the high court, that they would have bring some order to this child support. But instead, they sent it back to the lower court, saying that I did not comply with all the rules and all of that, and the case is still open. Since that judge emailed me twice, said they don't have no staff. They don't have no staff. And I
Oh.
want, mind you, I want to say something, Miriam, because every month that they decline to answer somebody's child support case, especially if they have arrears, that arrears go up.
Mm-hmm.
So if they have $400 and you take 4, 5, 6 months, you multiply 4, 5, 6 months by 400, 300. In my case, 1,052 a month. See how much that adds up to by the time they take to answer that case in 4 years.
Right.
Now we in 2025, it's the same thing. Now you don't have staff. You emailing me and telling me you don't have staff.
So he doesn't have a secretary to email you to tell you that they're shorthanded. That's weird.
But why even emailing me to tell me you don't have staff? At this point, all the jobs, all the income and all that stuff is already passed because you did not calculate the child support the way it's did. All the handedness that they did in the child support is already passed, it's already done. So now you have a new job. Why don't you calculate the child support like any other child support case and let it done from here?
Mm-hmm.
And let it finish from here.
Right.
You're ragging out somebody for money and they can't have access to the child. They can't have a relationship with the child. I could understand if domestic violence and stuff is involved, but we have none of that. Besides people trying to take my life, because they could have taken my life, because I did not come out my car when those guys follow me. I said, I'm not going to die. Mm-hmm. That day, I made up my mind. My police training kicked into gear, and I said, I am not going to die on that cul-de-sac. Mm-hmm. I didn't care if my car did dent up, but I know I wasn't going to die.
Oh, I am so sorry you are going through this.
So all of this that was done to me. Right. And I know a lot of people know a lot of things that was going on. But they make a blind eye and a deaf ears. I don't want nobody to apologize to me. Mm-hmm. Sometimes I was like, what was I thinking when I thought about becoming a police officer? Mm. The system that failed me. People have no integrity. Absolutely none. Mm-mm. Now you want to paint the picture like I have mental health issues. I'm crazy. And you want to put people in places to write reports that I have mental health issues. So if I have such a mental health issue to take care of my child, well, then I have mental health issue. I can't work and I can't pay child support.
Right. You can't have it both ways. That's what they did to me. They were calling me mentally ill and then expecting me to make $4,000 a month. It doesn't work that way. They cannot have it both ways. And that's what Judge Elizabeth Kelly had to learn when I won in my Superior Court case. You can't have it both ways. Unbelievable.
So all of this you have going on. I just want at this point, calculate it. Just, you don't need no special staff. Just let him bring his income. You go off of what I have, and we take it from there. And I want to see my child. I want her to be involved. Actually, I did with her report card. I just see a report card. She did have a little bit of improvement, but in the reading and decoding, that's the issue. How are you going to excel in the other subject if you don't know how to read? Mm-hmm. Because even if you have a math problem, you have to able to decode that math problem. You have to able to read and decode that math problem, right? Mm-hmm. So you're saying that you know how to read. These simple, I can read book. Mm-hmm. You could get, she don't know how to read them. If you give my daughter these books to read, she can't read them, right? She can, without me helping her. And these are simple, I can read phonics book.
Right.
No more than 4 words, right? So, but you don't want me to be involved in her life?
I tell you, the judiciary and these psychopathic lawyers are bringing this nation down because you're not the only parent that their children are behind academically.
So, I guess we're going to wait till maybe the end of the year to say, keep telling me you don't have staff to modify my child support. That was denied how many times? How many times they denied my case? How many times you have people in the child support office doing favors for him because they know him? Mm-hmm. Because he's from Delaware and I'm not. He's born American and I'm not. So you feel like you can keep taking advantage? Or because I didn't have the strength at the time to speak. I don't know why they think this was going to fly. Mm-hmm. Because apparently he didn't know me. He didn't know that I was going to speak out. They know I was not going to speak out. Anybody do wrong things, I am going to speak out. I have nothing to hide. And if the FBI want to ask me about all those people that was following me and coming to my house, I am not afraid to speak on what transpired. Mm-hmm. What I experienced. The sleepless nights I had when people sitting in front of my house for hours. My mom. Mm-hmm. Was terrified even to come to my house. to visit. When my family come, they're looking around like, wait a minute. It's not like they're frightened at anybody because I know my family can handle it. Some of them can handle themselves.
Mm-hmm.
But we're not going to go there. We're not going to get ourselves caught up because of people.
Hmm. To go back to him and his income because he's remarried.
I was told that he's getting married. I don't know if the wedding is official yet.
Oh, but I know when I was in a de novo hearing, the opposing attorney asked me what my current husband made. And I told her he's not up for a topic of conversation because our bank accounts were still separate. And that's how I wanted it. But now get this, when I was being hauled through child support contempt hearings, what they did was they increased my child support even more
Because of your
because
husband.
because
Mm-hmm.
of my ex and his wife, who enjoys her job at the courthouse. They actually increased it. I have proof of this. In fact, I showed it to one of my friends because he was arguing his case and then I was next. And he said, had you not showed me this, I never would have believed what you were saying. But they increased my child support based on him being married to her. Now, someone needs to explain this to me.
But also, I think in Delaware is both because when I did file the case with the high court here, they did ask if I'm living with somebody and how much the income is. So if he's living with somebody, which he keep lying that he's not living with nobody, or
Mhm.
when it comes to court time, whoever he's living with, she's playing the game along with him. She's playing the game along with him. You understand? So when
Right.
it's court, I guess she move out and go back to her mom house or whatever game they're playing, right?
Hmm.
So, but when court's not going on, now you're living together. So both
Well,
incomes should they live together. Both incomes, according to the information, should be added.
right. And you're paying co-pays on her son.
No, that's somebody else's son.
Oh,
So this is somebody different he's living with. So this oldest is oldest child. I was paying his co-payments. His
that
oldest son. The son is biological son. Not that son that she have is not his son.
gotcha.
So his oldest son, his biological son, that's I was paying, and I have the receipts. I have the receipts because at the time when I called near Morris Hospital Financial Department, at the time I spoke with a staff there. She told me that if I had found the receipts, she would have refunded back the money because he
Mm,
is the owner of the insurance that I should not be paying for things. But at the time when I spoke with her, I could not. I didn't have the receipts.
hmm.
I didn't. I had them all over the place, but now I have them together.
Oh, just terrible. This is
So
just
she was willing
terrible.
to refund me back that money. He never paid back that money. His son is
Mhm.
not my son. His son is not my responsibility. Just like now, you want me to keep paying child support. You getting my tax return every year for the last 3 years. You getting my tax return, right?
Hmm.
They getting it this year. For the whole of last year, it didn't work. Didn't work. But I still have to pay you child support when you're living with somebody. When you have an income, but you want me to take care of you and your family and your new family,
Ugh.
and I can't see my child. I don't care about this family really. I want to have a relationship with my daughter. That's my main thing.
All these personality disorders do this to their exes and their children. They don't care about their children. They just want to get even with you.
And at this point, even for what? Because I can care less about him.
Exactly.
I can care
But
less.
he
It's a
must.
mis- I'm like the counsel. She got mad when she asked me what is good about. I said it was a mistake. I made a mistake. I pray about everything, and I forget to pray about asking God to put the right husband, the right father for my children that is to come, the right person to do my homework. I bite that bullet. I made that mistake. We want me to say
Hmm.
I'm woman enough to say I made a mistake because the way that I work and the things that I achieved through working hard, I should have found somebody on that same level. When people talk like this, people just get mad. Oh, because no. Because when somebody have nothing to lose, they don't care. They make you lose everything that you
Right.
work hard for.
Well, I think I'm glad you said that because when you go to choose a spouse, I mean, I think everyone should be doing background checks on the
Yeah,
spouse as
on
well as
everything, and the
all their
family and everybody,
yes.
everything. Yes,
And they should be bringing something to the table as you did.
yes, yes, yes. You work hard. You have a certain amount of money. You own whatever. Make sure that person is on the same page too. Yeah,
Exactly.
same
Oh,
values, same morals about kids and all that, and able to talk things through maturely. And because I never had an issue, even though he was an absentee father for the first year when he go leave her 2 months, if he had come back and said, "Look, I want to come back, whatever, to visit," I wouldn't have had a problem. But you
mhm.
drag him and drag me financially through the system. You
As-
know what is funny, Marianne? Because even with the job that he worked with the state, I said to him, because he was working in the police department, I said, you start there so young, and the police department give you an opportunity, regardless of your age. Once you reach 20 years, you can retire. I said, do not touch your retirement. Start working with the state, and you can get a second pension. I encourage him to go to DMV. I stand with him. And now you pulling me straight through this, help him with his finances. Now you're pulling me through the system for money.
mhm.
And don't want me to see our child. You don't even want me to tell this child happy birthday. You're telling her that I'm such a bad mother,
Mhm.
that I gave her, but you want my money. You want my money. You take my name off of every single thing. I'm not even sure if my name is on her birth certificate. I wonder if he went that far to take my name off the birth certificate. You should do that too. I don't want my money that
Right.
I don't have to give him.
It's time to suspend your child support.
With all the corruption that went on in this child support, and they go back. What I'm talking, they go back. I pay $5,000 in daycare. They never made them pay half of it. All the stuff that I provided, they never pay half of it. So this Supreme Court has said that all the stuff that I send is irrelevant. Oh, I mean it's irrelevant. It's receipts that I send. But you see, they have to say it's irrelevant because I complained to them about some of the stuff that was going on. But I sent a complaint as I was complaining to the judge about the judge. So they dismiss all my complaints. So now I'm just putting it to them again with me, him and I.
Mhm.
But because now you're watching through all this thing, and was like, oh shoot, this one didn't do this. Oh nah, we're gonna deal with this. Y'all fix this. They push it back.
Yeah.
Oh she didn't follow the rules. I'm just gonna write she didn't follow the rules and blah blah blah. Right?
Well, it's
And
hard to
push it
do when
right
you're
back.
a pro se litigant. When you're defending yourself, they, they're told that they have to be lenient with pro se litigants. I'm not a lawyer. I can't give any legal advice
No,
because there's no such thing as good legal advice. But technically, and I was told this by a judge, okay, since you're a pro se litigant, we're going to explain things to you better. It-
they don't.
yeah.
So they sent it right back, right? And saying that the
Mhm.
case was open. So, but yet still the small court saying that they don't have staff. So I
Oh.
want to know how more long do my case have to drag on for me to get a modification. And you could imagine other people, because not everybody can afford to have an attorney.
Hmm.
I had an attorney, and one thing I learned with having an attorney, and I would tell people, make sure you study this attorney.
Oh,
Make sure it's an
yes.
attorney that was going to stand up for you. Make sure it's an attorney that's going to speak up for you. Speak up for your child. Have your child's best interest at heart. Because I have attorneys that I pay for that didn't give a damn about me or my child, did not speak up. One of my attorney was intimidated by Laura Brooks because she's a bully. You know how many times when I watch the emails going back and forth between them, I wanted to jump in and say something so bad
Mhm.
because Laura Brooks is a bully.
Yes. And,
And
she's
she
like,
feel everybody is scared of her because same thing with when the last case we had in February, she keeps claiming that the paperwork that are filing in court that the clerks is not giving it to her. When I addressed it with the supervisor in the clerical department, there were times stamping the envelope and the documents that I was filing. So when she was saying that she wasn't getting anything,
Oh, they lie.
Then she emailed me and tell me if I don't respond to her email, she is gonna file contempt to court. She's gonna have my case canceled, dismissed, right? So I asked her, "Say you threatening me? Are you
I
threatening me?
I think she needs a psychological
Are you
evaluation.
threatening me?"
Yeah.
Because that is a threat. And that's exactly what she said happened. Because when I showed up to court, no, it was no court hearing. On the 31st, it was no court hearing. But I don't know why she think I was gonna back down from her.
Mm-hmm.
I still didn't send anything to her email because it was already mailed. She got it because she answered another email, and I said to her, I said, if you got the other item, that means you get all of it because all of it was mailed the same time. So how are you claiming that you have one thing and you didn't have the other thing?
Mm-hmm.
Then she testified in court. Oh, the judge's secretary was giving her all the information. Okay, so well then you got it then.
Right. Oh, this is terrible. I'm so glad you came on to speak out. What else can you recommend to a parent going through this?
Like I said, if you're gonna get an attorney, make sure you study attorneys. Make sure you study them. Make sure they're gonna speak up for you. Make sure you have a good support system, and most of all, make sure you take care of yourself because
Mhm.
that's very important. Very, very important. I know there's a lot of things that you want to respond to everything, but just stay calm. Not everything you respond to. Just take mental notes. Take notes. Take good notes.
Mm-hmm.
Even though you have an attorney, make sure you take good notes. And another thing that I want to say with Laura Brooks, because she emailed me and said that she don't want me to contact her client in the court of Delaware, because even the supervisor said that, okay, she claimed that she's not receiving mails from me from the court. Make sure that when you file the stuff to the attorney, make sure you send a copy to them also.
Mm-hmm.
Because that's the court order. That's the rule of the court. She can tell you that she don't want you to send anything to her client. Send the paperwork to her and her client. But
Mm-hmm.
of course, he's gonna lie and say he didn't receive it.
Oh,
But I had a lot of things. I send them register mail. I paid extra, and I send
oh
stuff
yeah,
register mail.
I
But
did
still, yet she
too.
wasn't. But yet still, she wasn't getting them. Where
Ugh.
you have to sign with the green stamp, it came out, but yet still she didn't get them.
Well,
But most important, they have to take care of themselves. Have to take care. Make sure you have
right.
a good support system. And I'm so thankful for my family. I'm telling you, because I didn't know how I was gonna even get through this.
Right. Right. Oh, and I want to add that if you do drop off information to the opposing counsel at their office, make sure their secretary gives you a receipt saying
Yes,
that this was received on this date and time. They
yes,
won't like
yes,
it. They'll be
yes,
irritated with you,
yes.
but
But
you
you
know
have to do that.
what?
You have to do that. Yes,
You have
because
to
the
do
play.
that.
Yes,
And
yes.
hopefully they
Very
have a
important.
candy dish nearby with those lifesavers. Grab a whole bunch of those and throw them in your pocket while you're
Yes,
there.
yes,
Hey,
yes,
Marineka, do you want them to come through me
yes,
to? Okay,
yes.
that. So if anyone wants to reach Marineka, they can come through dismantlingfamilycourtcorruption.com and I will get her the message. Okay, so hey, Marineka, don't jump off. Slam the Gavel, the podcast to help the public understand what really goes on in these courtrooms. I'm your host, Marianne Petrie. You can find me on Spotify, YouTube. Please like and subscribe, Apple, iTunes, iHeartRadio, Google, and other platforms I don't know about. Again, feel free to buy me a coffee to help keep this podcast going. Thank you, Marineka, and thank you everyone for listening.
Okay, you're welcome.